Honestly, I wish it wasn't the case, but it's some form of tragedy in an organization. So usually when an organization comes to us and says, I needed your support yesterday, what can you do for me? It's because I've had a death in service. I've just spoken to a very large organization who's potentially coming on board this week, but they've had 2 death in services, 2 employees die within the last 6 months. They weren't prepared for it. They didn't have support. Their HR team felt completely out of their depth. Not because they lack the skills or the expertise, but because they're not grief experts. They don't know how to talk to people about death and dying. They don't know how to set up an appropriate memorial when someone in their organization dies. So unfortunately, I think a lot of it just comes from tragic events, someone dying that maybe was expected, that maybe wasn't. A lot of the times it's a senior leader who comes to us and says, my husband died, or my partner was really sick, or I've just been bereaved by a parent. I went to go look at our bereavement policy. I was embarrassed. I was shocked at what we offer to our employees, and we need to change it, but we don't know where to start. So oftentimes it does come from personal experience, which I think is a shame. And I see that a lot in the grief space as well. A lot of us who end up becoming advocates for a better grief support is because we've been through it and we know how bad it is and how bad it feels to be treated that way. But I would love to see more organizations being proactive, because as much as we can help, it's really difficult to come in when someone has already died and then they say to us, what should we do? What can we be doing? But it's been 2 weeks, or in some cases it's been a month, and then we have to onboard them and go through, the general kind of paperwork and all those things. We can't avoid doing those. So yeah, it's a shame when people come to us at that point. I wish people were more proactive.
Right. So it ends up being because they're reactive. There ends up being a lag in the support that you're able to provide because of the administrative things that need to occur to be able to stand up the training and stand up all of the support that you can provide.
Yeah, and we can be quick, we can be adaptable, we can, forego some of the more kind of nitty gritty things to get support in place. But even if we're being, I've had conversations with people like, can you get on a call with me today? Because we've just had an employee die. Yes, I can get on a call with you that day, but what have you sent in the time that we're waiting to speak? So sometimes even, 2-3 hours can be a huge difference. If a team is waiting for you, they've just found out that their colleague has died, and they're all sitting around going, what's happening? Why hasn't my manager said anything? Where's the senior leadership? Where's the process for this? Are we coming to work tomorrow? All of these questions. And you're saying, oh, hold on, give me a couple of hours. I just need to go talk to someone. They're like, why don't you know how to do this? Why don't you have a process? It puts you up to seem like you failed in that space. So even in the quickest circumstance, it still is like a massive gap that's very obvious to your employees.
Sure.